Well, a very good morning from Phuket, and today I brought you down to Karon Beach, and I thought we'd just have a wander along the beach because it's such a beautiful day, and we have had quite a bit of rain this month so far, so it's a nice change. We seem to be getting equal amounts of rain to sun, so if we get 3 or 4 days of sunshine like today, we get 3 or 4 days of rain. That seems to be the weather pattern at the moment. I've just done a weather update on my Facebook group, and if you haven't joined, go over there because I try to do almost daily weather updates to let people know what the weather is doing. So if that's something that interests you, then consider joining my group. It's almost now at 10,000. So I want to thank everybody that has joined my Facebook group, also all the people that are joining my channel. A big thank you for supporting me, but I will mention on my channel that only 18% of people that watch my YouTube channel have actually subscribed to the channel, which is a bit of a shame. I want to try and get it past the 10,000 mark now. I'm doing a lot of working very hard to bring you a lot of content, as you will have seen over the last few weeks. A lot of videos coming out, a lot of videos to come. I'm going to be covering all sorts of topics. I'm going to try and mix it up a bit. I know sometimes people are not interested in this and not interested in that, but I'm trying to help the majority of people, so the content needs to be varied. So some of the content will be of interest to tourists, people that are visiting Phuket and Thailand. Some of the content will be of interest to expats that are living here, because of course I'm an expat myself. I live in Phuket and I understand the need for good, clear information for expats, places that are not going to cost you a lot of money to eat, places that you can go for certain facilities that wouldn't apply to tourists, like glasses for instance, doctors and things like that. General things that expats need on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to try and help out, of course, visas and things like that. I won't go too much into the visa side of things because to me that's a subject in its own right, and it can get a little bit tricky depending on your circumstances. There's so many different options, but I am going to cover the basics, so that will help a lot of people that may be considering moving over here, so what to expect, and of course a lot of stuff to do with tourism. I love Thailand. I want to promote it. I want to help promote Thailand to tourists. It's a great destination to come to, including Phuket. It can be expensive, but as I've shown many times, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's really down to you as an individual and how much you want to look around and find those bargains. I try to help people steer them in the right way, but I can only do so much. It also comes down to yourselves. But let's just take a minute to enjoy Karon Beach. Now we are almost halfway into July, and July is normally a quiet month here in Phuket, but there are a few people about, as you can see on the beach. We've got the paragliding, parasailing, whatever it's called. I never know what it's called, but whatever it is, it's out and about today. There's quite a few about. There's one behind me as well that's gone up, you can see there. And there's another one getting ready to go on the beach. So quite a few about today actually. A few boats out there. I don't see any jet skis out today. I don't know whether they've got any jet skis actually on Karon Beach. I'm sure they have. What an absolutely glorious day, considering it's July, middle of the rainy season. As I say, you've got to come over here if you're coming in July with the idea, or in the rainy season, that you're going to see some degree of rain. How much is impossible to say. People are asking me all the time, what's the weather like in August? What's the weather like in September? I have no idea. I'll be totally honest with you. I have no idea what the weather's going to be like. It could be blue skies like this and absolutely perfect, or it could be pouring down with rain. 2 or 3 days ago it was absolutely lashing down with rain, really bad. So it's changeable, and I don't think anybody can give you an honest answer to that question. If you're asking people what the weather's going to be like next month or 6 weeks time or 2 months time, people really don't know. And you can't gauge the weather on what it was like last year, because if you look back at July last year, it probably doesn't resemble July this year. The weather does change a lot here in Phuket, and that's one of the things. People get very upset film that going up. The guy on the back there, he ain't got no safety harnesses. Good luck, mate. Don't fall off. It's a long way down. Yes, health and safety, eh? I don't think we have that here in Thailand. But as I was saying, it's difficult to predict the weather. You've just got to, if you come in at this time of year, I understand some people have to come at this time of year. That's when they can take their vacation. I understand. Let's have a quick look over here. See what the prices are like. Give you an idea if you fancy doing a little bit of water sports. Well, there you go. You can see them for yourself. Together 3,500. I'm guessing that's for 2 people. Parasailing small 1,500. Big 2,000. Banana boats, storm, jet skis 1,800. Wakeboard. Good morning. How are you doing? Yeah? Maybe later. Maybe later. I'll do a little bit of video first. You busy? Yeah, you busy? Okay, good, good. Okay. Don't think he wants to chat. That's okay. No problem. No problem. But look at it. Absolutely beautiful. So even in the rainy season, this shows that you can get glorious weather. You don't have to think that it's going to rain all the time, because it's very rare that it rains here in Phuket for a prolonged period. We do have prolonged periods of rain. I'm not saying it never happened. I'm just saying it's very rare. Normally 3 or 4 days, and that's about it. And then you're going to get some decent weather, hopefully, as I've showed with my weather updates in the group, etc. So, and while I'm thinking about Facebook, something that I want to mention, I have mentioned it in previous videos. There's a lot of people requesting friends on Facebook, sending me friends requests, and I've stopped accepting them. Now, that's nothing to do with anybody particular. It's just that all that happens is all the friends that I add to Facebook, they all want to send me messages, and I just can't cope with it. I have a lot of messages coming in asking me all types of different questions. I've got emails coming in all the time asking me different questions about different things. And no disrespect, I don't sit around doing nothing all day. I have lots and lots of things to do. So sometimes I just don't have the time to respond. And by adding more people to my friends list, it makes the situation worse. So I don't add any more people to my friends. I've stopped doing that because unfortunately people don't realise that there's a time difference between where they live and in Thailand, and I'm getting messages coming in the middle of the night, and as you can imagine, it's not ideal. Obviously I can turn the sound off on my phone, but when I wake up I've got loads of emails, loads of messages, and I've got to sit there for an hour, 2 hours trying to sort it out. Plus I run my Facebook group. Now, the idea of my Facebook group is so that people can ask questions in the group. That is the whole idea, because I don't know everything about Thailand. I'm like everybody else. Yes, I've been coming here a long time and I have gained a lot of knowledge, but my knowledge has a limit. Of course, I don't know every place, every restaurant, every hotel. I just don't know it because there's so many here. I share my knowledge, what I have, but I also, with the group, can draw on other people's knowledge that may know something that I don't. And that is the idea of the group. Shared knowledge, which is more beneficial to people. And also you get different point of views as well, because I'm not going to say my point of view on something is always correct, because it may not be. So it's good to have other people's point of views, and then you can decide yourself. So that's just a little word on Facebook. As I've said, if you haven't joined the group, then join it. It is now, my group is actually bigger than my YouTube channel. So it's now overtaking my YouTube channel. So again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please consider it, because there's only 18% of my viewers that actually subscribe to the channel. So I want to try and get it past the 10,000 mark. I want to give it a big push, and it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. It will encourage me to do more content and make more videos. So people will benefit that watch the channel even more. You can see there's a few people about on the beach today, which is nice to see, I'll be honest. Even though it's a low season, it's nice to see some tourism. Now at the moment, according to local media reports, China and Russia are the two biggest tourist that are coming to Thailand, so nationalities that are coming here to the island, followed by the Australians. So they're in third place at the moment. I happened to notice that the other day on social media, well, on the local media, should I say. Another one up there. Oh, it's a fantastic day for doing parasailing. Definitely a fantastic day, really is. A few children about swimming in the water. You do have to keep an eye on the red flags. Now, you can clearly see yourself. I've mentioned this many times. There are red flags, and the reason why there are red flags on the beach is because the west side of Phuket, which is where we are now, in Karon, in Patong, in the rainy season suffers with undercurrents. And these guys here, these lifeguards, do them a favour, don't put their life in danger, because if you swim when there's red flags out and you get into difficulty, unfortunately these guys are the guys that have got to come in and save you. So they've got to save your life and they put their own life on the line. And I've said this many times. Now you can see here, even though there's red flags, there is an area where you can swim. And this is because of the undercurrents. Obviously, those are there for a reason, so pay attention to them and try and swim where it says you can swim. And if there's no area that you can swim, because there's all red flags out, then please don't be tempted to go in the water and swim. Because unfortunately, every year, a lot of people lose their lives here in Phuket through drowning. Basically because they've ignored the warning signs on the beach. So that is not going to be the ideal ending to your holiday, is it? If you come out here, have a fantastic holiday, and then you do a stupid thing like swim when you shouldn't in the waters. There are a lot of rip currents on the west side, one of the worst ones that you can get, and generally a lot of undercurrents. So obviously if you want to go in the water, just paddle, just don't go too far out. That's my best suggestion, is either don't go in the water, which is probably the best suggestion, or don't go too far out. Stay just standing up, don't get swimming, because if you get trapped in the currents, you're going to be taken out, and if one of the guys don't see you in trouble, then you could end up drowning, and also you're going to put other people's lives in danger because of foolishness. Just wait until the weather improves. We have had some bad weather, the storms, and that's when we get a lot of the undercurrents. Can't believe the weather today, just beautiful. Let's hope this keeps up for 3 or 4 days. I'm going to be out and about doing some filming. I thought I'd come over and check out Karon Beach, because it's been a while since I've come and had a walk down on the beach. You can see it's nice. So all those people that are coming over at the moment that are in the group, you're going to see some sun, definitely. But just be prepared that it may not last for your whole holiday. You might also see a few showers. Nothing wrong with that. Now let me have a quick word about renting a vehicle. Something that's obviously close to my heart, because my wife has got a hire company, as some of you will already be aware. Of course, if you're in the Facebook group, you will have seen that we advertise our services in there. Not all the time. I do restrict it, but we do advertise in there. Now, if you're looking at hiring a vehicle, motorbike, car, obviously this time of year cars are better because you're not going to get wet and you can't guarantee on the weather. But if you do decide to rent a bike, you will need a full motorbike license. To go along with that, you will need an international driving permit to make yourselves legal, so that you are legal to drive on the road. Now, there are people that do not have the correct license, do not have the international permit, and what that means is you are driving on the road illegally. You can hire a bike without the necessary documentation, but should you have an accident, it will be your fault. Regardless of who caused the accident, whether it was yours or not, it will be your fault. So you will be liable for the cost. That's how it works. If you are fully legal here in Thailand, riding a scooter, and you have an accident, as long as it's not your fault, then the other person has to pay. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I have an accident with a Thai person, I end up having to pay even though it's not my fault. Well, if you hire a vehicle from my wife, We not just hire vehicles, we also offer a service, and that includes negotiation should you have an accident on one of our vehicles. If you have done nothing wrong and you are fully covered, i.e. legal to be on the road with the correct licenses, we will be able to sort out any accidents that you may have. Hopefully you won't have any. We don't want people to have accidents, of course, but it is part of life, and unfortunately Thailand is well known for motorbike accidents and accidents in general, so it's good to have that service. We do not charge any extra. We are not the cheapest hire company on the island. I've never said we were, and I'm never going to try and say we're going to be. We offer a complete service, so of course our services are maybe a little bit more than Fred in the shed, who hires you the bike, and after that he's not interested unless you damage the bike, and then he's going to want you to pay. That's not how we work. We try to negotiate, if it's not your fault, with the person whose fault it is, to pay for the damages, so you don't have to pay. But you need to be fully legal. Same applies to the car. If you want to hire a car, you need a full car driving license, and to go along with that you need an international permit to be legal and to be insured. Our car is covered by commercial insurance, and this is something that we're seeing now in Phuket with the rise of Facebook and social media. There are a lot of people hiring vehicles illegally, basically, or they don't supply the correct insurance. So for instance, with a car you get something called first class insurance, which is the equivalent of the UK's fully comprehensive insurance, and they say our car is insured. But what they neglect to say is that policy is a private policy. So these are individuals that own a car that are insured to drive it themselves. However, private policies, just the same as anywhere else in the world, do not cover you to lease out or hire that vehicle. The minute you do that, it voids the insurance. But these people do it anyway. They tell people they're insured, and then unfortunately they have an accident and the shit hits the fan. That's all I can say, because you won't be covered, because you're breaking the law. Now, of course, there are people that will try and persuade you, should you have an accident, to maybe say they're driving the car, or you're just a friend and you're not hiring it. Now, obviously, if you lie to an insurance company, that is classed as fraud. So that then becomes more serious than driving with no insurance, and you can actually go to prison for that offence. So I would strongly advise you from doing that, because you don't want to end up on the wrong side of the law in Thailand because of somebody else's neglect, basically. If you're going to hire a vehicle, I'm not saying hire from us, of course, you're very welcome to. Our car is covered by full commercial insurance, so there's no problem there, you're fully covered. However, if you want to hire a car, I would strongly recommend that when you hire it, you check that the person that you're hiring it from has the appropriate insurance. Don't just take the fact that they say yes, it's first class insurance, because yes, they may have first class insurance, but as I've mentioned, it may be a private policy, and that will not cover you in an accident, especially if it's a serious accident. The police get involved, the insurance companies are going to get involved. Insurance companies in Thailand are no different to anywhere else in the world. They will dig. If they find something that's not quite right, they ain't going to want to pay. And that's the way insurance companies work. They don't make money if they have to pay out for claims. They don't want to pay out unless they have to. So make sure everything's above board if you're going to hire a vehicle, for your own safety really, and your own sake, because you could very quickly find yourself in a lot of trouble through no fault of your own. So a word of caution there, if you're going to be hiring anything, do check, especially cars. Don't just take their word for it. Make sure they've got a commercial policy, because private policies do not cover rental of cars. You have to have a commercial policy, and this is why our prices may be a little bit more than somebody on Facebook that's advertising, because we have to pay a larger amount for commercial policy. It's not the same price, so we have higher overheads basically. So that is something to look out for. If the car's very cheap, there's a reason why it's cheap. Just bear that in mind. Cheap is not always good, as you should know. So we're now right down the bottom of Karon Beach, and I believe in front of me is the Beyond Karon Resort. We also have the Tan Terrace. Now, the Tan Terrace, if you don't know, is a beach club. Very nice inside. I have visited, I've had some food, and the food is okay. It's not going to blow you away, but I do warn you now, it is very expensive. Pretty much the same for most beach clubs here in Phuket. They're all very expensive. But if you're on holiday and you want to enjoy yourself and you've got the money and you're not bothered, then it's a great place. They do charge for tables that are right along the beach, and some of them can be quite expensive. So you're going to have minimum spends, or you may have to pay for that spot depending on what's going on within the beach club. But it is a nice place. As I say, I have been here with Nat and we have had some food, but it can be a little bit pricey. Karon Beyond, or Beyond Karon Resort, I've heard good things about it. I've not stayed there personally myself. I would like to get in there and do some filming. I've got some hotels coming your way very, very soon. So hopefully I'm going to be able to bring you stuff on places to stay. I've done a few, as you will have seen on my channel, but I've got a lot more coming. So a nice hotel there, and fantastic beach if you're staying there. Just straight onto the beach from the hotel, and this is what you're going to get. And it couldn't be better today. Definitely couldn't be better. There's a light breeze. Hopefully my microphone isn't picking it up. I forgot to bring the little wind cover for it, so apologies if there is a little bit of wind noise. But Karon Beach, 12th of July, looking fantastic. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this wander down Karon's Beach. Hopefully I haven't bored you to death, but I wanted to clear up a few things, mention a few things that have been on my mind, and just have a general chat and let you know what the position is out here for different things, because it's very important. Obviously, minor issues can turn into a major issue that can cost you a lot of money on your holiday and spoil the dream holiday, really. A lot of people pay an awful lot of money to come over to Thailand and indeed Phuket for a holiday. Sometimes it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, of course, I want you to have the best experience here in Phuket. Hopefully want to come back in the future and have enjoyed your holiday. And I hope today you have found this video helpful, informative, and if so, you know what I'm going to ask you to do? I'm going to ask you to give it a big thumbs up, because that really helps the video. So please do that, and as I've mentioned earlier in the video, please do consider subscribing. I don't want to keep mentioning it because I know people get bored, but I feel that if I don't mention it, people don't just subscribe to the channel, so I'm losing that way. And it is free after all, and it really helps me to push forward and make more content, and that's what it's all about. I want to do a lot more, both on this channel and my other channel. Some of you might not know, I have a second channel. It is only very small at the moment. I haven't done a lot with it since I sold my Kawasaki, my Z1000, because it's more of a motor vlogging channel, and that's what my channel originally started as. Didn't really start it as what it is now. It's just developed over time. So I want to get back onto the bike, because again, some of you will know I've bought a new motorbike. So I want to get back on the bike and do some vlogs on the bike and go to different areas. You're going to see a lot of content coming on the channel, not only here in Phuket but outside of Phuket, all different areas all over Thailand. I'm going to be going to Bangkok in the next few months with Nat. We're going to spend some time up there, because obviously I've not covered it on the channel. I have mentioned this in one of my previous videos, and it's somewhere I really, really want to cover now and get some, because Bangkok's a fantastic city to visit, as I'm sure you're aware. So there's plenty of YouTubers out there doing content on Bangkok, but I want to do some for my subscribers. I've also going to be looking at Phang Nga, which is an absolutely beautiful area, very much overlooked by tourists, but it is a stunning area. Scenery wise, it's fantastic. I'm going to be doing more from Koh Lak and places just slightly further afield of Phuket, and maybe go up to Chiang Mai at some point. I know Nat wants to go back there. It's one of our favourite spots. We both love Chiang Mai, so we want to do a little bit more on Chiang Mai as well. I have covered it. Look back over my earlier videos. Please do click on the video tab on my main page. Take a look at some of my older videos because some of them are still relevant today. They're not out of date. The information in there is still relevant and useful to you. So do check out some of the older stuff as well. And I guess I've babbled on long enough now. I don't know how long this video is, but I've babbled on long enough. So I guess it just leaves me to say, as always, you have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you very soon.